Okay, what I'm doing, is trying to make this 270 brass into the 765 Argentine. Now the first thing, like I say, they're considerably longer. So what I'm doing, I'm cutting them right at the base of the neck, leaving just a hair of the neck so that I've got something. I want to run them in a case trimmer before I do anything else so I can kind of even them out and clean them up some. I might have to shorten them some more after that, but I figured to go a little long, and then if it interferes in the dye, I'll change tactics, shorten it a little more. But it will, when it goes to make that shoulder, that's going to take a little material. So I think I'll be about right, once I square them up. But what I'm using is my DeWalt, and I'm running the thin cut-off blade. They're really thin, but that works pretty good. And this, brass cuts easy. It doesn't make a real smooth cut because it kind of melts its way through the food. But now I'll square them up with a case trimmer. Cleaning up with that Lee tool. And then I had to switch my pilot. I normally run a 31 pilot for these. That's the right size. But I had to switch it to a 27 because they're a little smaller. But what I'm just trying to do is to kind of even it out. And I'm trying not to get them too short because I can always shorten them if they seem a little long, but I'm trying to get them even. It'll just work better to get the expander started evenly. But the next thing I'll have to do then is anneal them. I'm only trying 5 of them. I figure that should be a good test. In case I'm too short or something. But so far I think that looks like that's going to work. But I'll anneal those now. And I'm using the stove because I have to have my little burner, my torch in the shop, but this will work. Takes a little bit longer because the heat isn't quite as well directed. But you do see, or I can see a definite change when it gets to that certain color. Kind of gets almost iridescent. And you can actually see the band moving down. And then they just throw the water. But I will do the rest of these. Yeah, I have tried one of these. Now this is the original case, and this is one after I went through the dye with it. Now it's still a little long, but like I was saying, I hope to be a little long because I can trim them off from there. But that appears to be working. And it doesn't go too bad. I'm using this Lee stuff. It's a resizing lubricant, but it says this is an industrial grade lubricant, not normally available to the consumer. But I got it at Fleet Farm. But I just smear some on the case and get some down inside the neck, just with a matchstick, and run her through. And it actually, the first starts out a little hard because it's got to expand that neck. But then when it gets up into where it's actually resizing the case, it goes pretty good. I'm doing a little bit of a rotation here just to kind of make it easier. But I think that'll work. The only thing I thought I might have to I have heard of people having trouble not chambering them, and the only way to fix that is to take a shell holder and grind it a little thinner so that your sizing die can come down a little further. So I'll see after I trim these if they won't chamber, then I'll go ahead and do that. But this looks like it's going to work. It will take a little grinding with the trimmer, but that's okay. It goes off pretty fast with a carbide cutter. There's a little bit of unevenness around, just from moving a lot of brass. But I think after the first time they're fired, they'll form up to where they want to be. So I'll go ahead and do them and then trim them down. Okay, I took them out and tried them in the gun to see if they'd chamber, and they were a little tight. You could get the bolt closed, but it went a little tight. And I'm sure after the first firing that would straighten out. But to be on the safe side, what I did, I had a spare number 3 shell holder, and I ground 15 thousandths off the top. That allows the die to, I was able to turn the die a little bit and get the die a little bit further down, and that took care of it. Now they chamber easily. So I'm going to load some up and take them out and try them. Well, I loaded them with 150 grain soft points, 4064. I've got a target over there, but I'm not really worried about accuracy. I just want to see if they function. Yeah, that looks good. Oh, you seem to hit pretty well, though. Well, hopefully they'll last longer than that Norma stuff. It seems to be a little heavier brass, so I think it'll be a little better. Yeah, I got no complaints. Well, that was easy enough. Well, successful experiment. The 270 is pretty cheap to work with. Well, so there it is. If only everything went that well. But that's 765 Argentine out of 270 Winchester. I think, I cut a little bit higher than I think I'd have to. It took a little more trimming, though no big deal. But if I do it that way again, I'll chuck this damn thing in my drill and crank it down quicker. But I think what I'll do, I plan on doing more of them because it worked really well. It was a smooth operation. But what I'm going to do is let these 5 I'll reload them and reload them. I'll keep working with these 5 for a while and make sure, see what kind of length I get out of them. But I got the feeling they're going to last me. You know, because like I say, it just looks like that's heavier brass than what these normal were. You know, I don't like having things mislabeled, so to speak, but I can live with this. These are obviously different, you know, and if you were to even stick one of these in a 270, it'd be no big disaster. Well, yeah, it would, because the bullet's much bigger. It would be a disaster, because that case is quite a little bigger. But it expanded out nice. It took that stretch. So I'll be able to keep the Mauser fed.